followed the butler along a corridor, he noted the consoles that had once graced the halls and held vases of hothouse flowers were missing. The corridor looked a little barren. Benton reached a door and opened it slightly. Grayson's nose was instantly assailed by the stench of smoke. He walked in behind Benton. The smoke was hanging like a cloud over the room. Furniture was scattered haphazardly about, save a card table in the middle of the room where one chair had tipped over. Lindsey sat at the card table with his back partially to the door. Lord Donnelly, whom Grayson knew as well, was seated at the card table across from Lindsey. In addition, there were 3 women, clearly harlots, judging by the immodest way they were dressed and the way one smiled brazenly at him. One of the women sat on Lindsey's lap, idly watching the card game. Another sat on Donnelly's lap and smiled saucily at Grayson. The third was lying on a settee, her feet dangling over the arm. She was sleeping. "My lord," Benton said. Lindsey did not acknowledge his butler, but continued to study his hand, chewing on the end of a cigar. "My lord." This time Lindsey responded with a grunt of warning and a flick of his wrist, a signal that he was to be left alone. Donnelly seemed not to notice the butler either. He was as engrossed in his hand and the considerable pile of coins in the middle of the table as Lindsey. Benton, a steadfast and loyal butler, was not to be deterred. "My lord," he said a little more forcefully, "there is a gentleman here to see you." "Benton, on my word I shall put you out on your arse today," Lindsey groused. "There is always one gentleman or another here to see me. Show whoever it is to the salon or a bedroom, but leave me be. I'm on the verge of divesting County Cork's Donnelly of a considerable amount of money, and I cannot be interrupted." He looked up and grinned at Donnelly as he laid down his cards. He had 3 of a kind, and a cry of disbelief went up from his opponent. "My lord!" "What?" Lindsey snapped as he raked the coins toward him. He glanced at Benton, then started upon seeing Grayson. "Good morning, Lindsey." Lindsey pushed the girl from his lap and came to his feet. "Christie, I cannot believe you've come," he exclaimed. Donnelly looked up with surprise. "Darlington," he said jovially, come and have a tot of good Irish whiskey." No, Nathan laughed. "That is a widow-maker poison, Declan, guaranteed to fox a man at first sip, and the Duke of Darlington will not be foxed." He grinned at Grayson, swaying a bit unsteadily. He looked like hell. His shirt was rumpled, his neckcloth nowhere to be seen, and his dark brown hair mussed from the fingers of a harlot. "What time is it, Benton?" Lindsey demanded. 10:30, my lord." Lindsey blinked. "In the morning," Benton added. Lindsey glared at the butler. "Now that was hardly necessary, sir." He looked at Grayson and smiled again. "Good God, Christie, what am I thinking? Come in, will you? Are you up from town to avoid the inconvenience of all the social engagements?" "Were I to leave town to avoid society, my lord, I should choose a place more restful than the den of iniquity the Libertine of Lindsey presides over at Eastchurch Abbey." That earned an appreciative laugh from Donnelly. "A den made by Wilkes, Donnelly, and that Scot scoundrel Lambourne," Nathan said jovially. "Were it not for them, I should pass each night at a warm hearth with a good Christian book, would I not, Benton?" "Undoubtedly, my lord." Donnelly snorted. The woman Lindsey had dumped off his lap giggled. "The 3 of them have been in residence at Eastchurch for 2 months now." Lindsey paused, thinking. "Or perhaps 3. "Devil take me if I can remember," Donnelly added cheerfully. "What brings you so far afield, Christie? Are we at war? Have I lost all my money? Has my title been revoked?" Lindsey laughed at his jest. Grayson did not. He was a man who took the responsibilities of his title and his position in society to heart. There was a time Lindsey had too, but he had seemed to forget them the last few years. Donnelly, from Ireland, was far more interested in horseflesh than in his title, specifically the racing of horseflesh and the wagering on it. Benton stepped forward and announced, "I shall have a bath drawn at once, my lord." Nathan looked surprised, but then waved a hand at the man swiftly departing back. "Bloody butler," he said with a grin. "He'll be sweeping floors if he's not